Now let's explore how IO psychologists apply the theories and concept we discussed to real-life situations, like a barista working in the busy coffee shop. At the individual level, employee assistance programs are widely implemented. These programs offer various support services to help our employees, like the barista, cope with work-related stress. These services might include supportive counseling, cognitive behavior therapy, training in coping techniques, for example, time management, or wellness programs focusing on relaxation, meditation, diet, and exercise. In Australia, research shows that individual-level counseling is the most commonly used service in employee assistance programs, and that employee assistance programs positively impact employees' well-being while being perceived as a desirable resource. While employee assistance programs do help presenteeism, coming to work while impaired due to stress, and overall functioning, they show mixed results for other outcomes, like reducing absenteeism, which is missing work because of mental or physical unwellness. However, these interventions have their limitations. For starters, they're reactive rather than proactive. They only kick in when an employee, like a barista, is already experiencing strain. Instead, wouldn't it be better to prevent that strain from brewing in the first place? For example, providing sufficient training to handle peak hours or ensuring adequate staffing. Another significant issue with individual-level interventions is that they put all the responsibility on our barista to handle their well-being. Sure, offering counseling or encouraging microbreaks can be helpful, but if the work environment is poorly designed with unclear job responsibilities or excessive workload, then these interventions will struggle to make a real impact. That's where our multi-level approach comes in, just like we talked about in our first lecture. It's not enough to implement individual-level interventions alone. We also need organizational-level strategies, like improving scheduling and communication, to reduce demands in the workplace and create a better work environment for our barista. Combining both individual and organizational approaches is the key to creating a healthy and supportive work environment. So let's explore some organizational level strategies for stress management that complement these individual level interventions. When it comes to organizational strategies, the key is to redesign jobs, making them the primary target for intervention. This includes reducing workloads, reworking roles to remove ambiguity, resolving role conflicts, and optimizing communication systems for accurate and reliable information sharing. These proactive and preventative approaches aim to nip stress in the bud by tackling the root causes. Now, as a secondary layer of defense, we might want to incorporate stress management training to help employees deal with their stress response. Think of these as your trusty sidekicks: conflict resolution techniques, time management, relaxation methods, and wellness programs. And for our final line of defense, we've got counseling and guidance to support those who are already feeling burnt out. And this is where employee assistance programs can be useful because they focus on treatment and rehabilitation. So there's definitely a place for employee assistance programs in stress management, but they should never be used as the only strategy. The magic really happens when we combine both individual and organizational interventions. Research shows that pairing these approaches leads to better outcomes at both the individual and organizational levels, improving skills, mental health, productivity, and even reducing absenteeism and turnover rates. So the takeaway: a balanced blend of individual and organizational approaches is the recipe for success when it comes to managing stress in the workplace. It's all about being proactive and tackling the issue from multiple angles. As we wrap up this tour through the world of stress research and IO psychology, let's take a moment to recap the key concepts we've explored together. We kicked off by examining the effect of work hours on stress, and then delved into role stressors, including role overload, role ambiguity, and role conflict. We saw how stress can lead to undesirable consequences like decreased job satisfaction, reduced performance, absenteeism, and the dreaded burnout. Then we ventured into the realm of burnout models, culminating in the three-pronged definition: exhaustion, cynicism, and decreased professional efficacy. We learned about the nonlinear relationship between job demand, stress, performance, and distinguished between challenge and hindrance stressors. With our theoretical hats on, we explored a range of models that helped explain and predict workplace stress, such as the vitamin model, demands control model, demands control support model, the effort reward imbalance model, and the job demands resources model, and the transactional stress model. These models provided valuable insights into the complex dynamics of stress in the workplace. Finally, we dove into the practical side of things, looking at how organizations can manage stress through job redesign, training, and employee assistance programs. Here, we emphasize the importance of combining both individual and organizational level interventions to achieve the best outcomes for employees and organizations alike. Thank you for joining me on this journey, and I'll see you all in the lecture debrief.